Hello family, finally we have an episode. My name is Linda Maponyane-Kobua and I am a pastor, I'm an author, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a facilitator, I am whatever that I have been to you. Even if I'm an ordinary person to you, it's okay. Welcome to my very first official episode, or my very first official upload on YouTube. So excited to have you here, and we're going to be talking everything fun, wellness, spirituality, travels, and so what are we talking about today? It took me so long to actually decide what I want to talk about today, and I think primarily because I had been convicted to speak about this particular subject, but I actually don't want to talk about it, but I'm thinking, okay, let me just talk about it. I'm going to be talking about my pregnancy journey. Yes, you heard it, my pregnancy journey. So how did it all start? What was it like? How did it feel for me at 39? Right, so I mean, many of you do know, many of you who know me do know that I got married at 39, and obviously before getting married, thinking about having a baby as a born-again child of God was out of question. Did it not cross my mind? It did cross my mind. Did it not somewhat give me anxieties of some sort that I am progressing in age? It did give me anxieties, but finally it did happen, and so this is how it happened. I met my guy, alright, I met my guy, and yeah, Mr. K, he proposed, we got married, and we then started living together, obviously. So what then happened from there was that I knew that I wanted to have children immediately, right? But I didn't know that it would come with some sort of anxiety and worry and the what ifs at the back of my mind, and it did come with that a lot. But I think one of the biggest thing that I want to talk about briefly in this particular video, and then I will do another video where I talk about the next subject that I'm going to mention now in a more detailed manner. So as a born-again child of God who was not necessarily having sex outside of marriage, I didn't see the need to worry about my womb, my uterus, anything that has got to do with childbearing, anything that has got to do with my reproductive system. And as a result, I ignored it all because, hallelujah, I'm born again, demon kicking child of God. And so I didn't see the need to have a gynae and to have visits and so forth. All right, so fast forward, start trying, and because at the back of my mind I wanted to have a honeymoon baby. When it didn't happen in November, because I got married on the 30th of October, when it didn't happen in November, was a bit anxious. Didn't happen in December. The anxiety was starting to go up the roof a bit, and I remember just thinking, is this thing going to happen or not? Spoke to my cousin doctor, who then said to me, it's a morakadi preg vita, preg omega, like anything vitamin kind of situation. And a friend of mine, Shoni, as well, she was like, friend, you need to get this done. And then I went and I bought them and I started taking them. So I started taking them on a daily basis, and just to prepare my body for pregnancy or conception. So what then happened was, one day I started going through YouTube, and I just wanted to see different channels of many women who were talking about what they did prior to them falling pregnant. How did they, what did they do, and what were they learning, and how kanti girl, me, you know, don't look at me and think she's all clever. There are things I don't know. Kanti girl, I kind of assumed that when you become intimate with your husband or your partner, you fall pregnant, you know, right there, like boom, done. I didn't know there's things called open window or fertility window. I had no idea. And then this friend of mine was the one who then one day said to me, Mugele, open window, fertility window, are you using that period to try? I'm like, what period are you talking about? This will come in the next video. And fine, fast forward, started trying, and then one day, so then I started tracking my period. When you become intentional about falling pregnant, you have to start tracking your period so that you can see your fertile window and so as a result, you then kind of have an idea when is going to be your next period, or when your next period is going to come. And I don't know, I don't care. If I start feeling like, then I know my period is coming. But anything pertaining to fertile window and 14 days and whatever circle, I had no idea. And I'm being honest, I had no idea. Anyway, then my last period was on the 7th of Jan. It was on the 7th of Jan. Then I started going through the whole the app. I started looking at the app to see when's the next fertile window, find my fertile window. And then Ugel is like, yes, come fertile window. And it just so happened that you know, by God's grace, things happened, you know. Liseri was somewhere in the running around, you know. But here's the thing. I had no idea what it feels like to be pregnant, obviously, or what happens to you. Everything that I know is things that I learned when I was intentional about wanting to fall pregnant. Then I knew that my next period was going to be around the 4th of Feb. Yeah, the 4th of Feb. It was going to be around the 4th of Feb. Oh, now I'm starting to sort of like get ready and track my period and I come, okay, before then I start feeling weirdish, sickish, you know, and I'm just like, something is not quite okay, you know. But I'm not, it's not clicking that it could be pregnancy, because the feeling I was having was the same feeling that I would have just before I have my period. So I thought, oh, okay, those pains that kind of give me the signs that the period is coming. Then one day, it was actually in the mid-morning-ish, I'm chatting to my husband, and he then says, can I kiss you? And she just leans over to kiss me, and I'm like, oh, bad bro, wrath, oh. And he looks at me and he's like, when did you start noticing hore bad breath? And I kind of knew what he's trying to do. And remember, at that time, I was kind of late for my period. I was actually late for my period. I was 2 days late. And the minute I became late, I started suspecting at the back of my mind. And Haki suspect, but I'm not telling him. Kantile, he's also tracking my period. So when I say, when I'm on, he's like, this one, Koni Dawala. And I just ignored him as soon as he said it. At that time, what I'm doing is I'm just going through YouTube. I'm going through YouTube and I'm checking all pregnancy channels, you know. What does it feel like a type, what does it feel like to be pregnant? Does period pain feel exactly like implantation pain or something of that sort. And some of the channels did confirm that when your egg is doing that whole implantation into your uterus, you kind of feel like you're about to go on your period, but it's actually not your period, it's your egg planting itself into the uterus. And I'm thinking, I don't want to be ahead of myself and start getting excited, so I'm gonna be cool about it. But kind of, this is me on, I lived on YouTube, like I lived on YouTube, going through every channel that I can find that can sort of assist me in understanding what I'm feeling and what I'm not seeing, which is my period. Why am I not seeing it? Then eventually one day, I think it's something that I read, that as soon as your egg plants itself into the uterus, you will see blood that is like pinkish, very, very light pink, nice, beautiful pink, weirdly enough. Me one day went to the loo, doing my number one, and then I checked my tissue. I'm like, this pink kind of looks beautiful. Kind of looks like the pink they were talking about. Quietly and silently went to Clicks one afternoon. My guy was not home. Went to Clicks, bought a pregnancy test thingamabob. Got home, said a prayer. I was like, Lord Jesus, hallelujah. Okay, calm down. But that, and then tested it, and I literally put it on my bathroom basin, and I looked away for a good 60 seconds. And I'm thinking, okay, relax, Linda, take your time. And I opened my eyes, and there were 2 lines. Whew, I literally stood there for a good 30 seconds, just wondering, am I seeing right? Am I dreaming? What is going on? And I remember just leaving it there, sitting down and just thinking, what? Did the Lord not do it? Hallelujah. I was just sitting there and I'm thinking, Lord, did you do it? Did you do it? And I was emotionless. That's the weird part. I was emotionless. I wasn't happy. I wasn't like, I was numb. I was so numb to everything that was happening. But I think, when you've been through a lot in life, you kind of like teach your psyche not to be overly excited about certain things, just in case, And I sat there and I remember just waiting for my guy to come back. He had gone for a meeting or something of that sort. Then when he came back, I was sitting in the lounge. I had just finished cooking. I'm sitting in the lounge, and I said to him, I've got a gift for you. And he's like, oh, okay, a gift. Oh, okay, where's the gift? I'm like, it's in the room. Just go in our room, go in the bathroom. You'll find the gift on the basin. Yeah, the bathroom. He went in. Initially he was like, I'm going with you. I'm like, it's your gift, you go. He gets in there and he finds the test. And he shouts, he's like, baby. I come walking in all shy. Imagine me shy, all shy, not knowing what to do with myself. And he was just like, congratulations, I'm so happy for you. I'm looking at him and thinking, well, this is our but I think, of course, because it's my first, it's like, I'm happy for you, congratulations, oh, the Lord did it, I think he prayed he hugged me and he prayed for me. And then that was like the beginning of the most beautiful period of my life, or rather the most unpredictable period of my life. But let me tell you this funny joke, and I know many women who have been here will most probably relate. The next day I went and I bought 4 other tests. before. Tested another one, came back positive. Tested another one, came back positive. I was just enjoying to see the positive. But also, I think I wanted to be like 300% sure that this is it. I am really pregnant. And yeah, that was the beginning, you know, of the journey. Went to a doctor to confirm for sure, and also just to check if the baby's sitting in the uterus. And yeah, it was confirmed, and that was it. That was it. I was pregnant, and yo, what a journey. Mina again, I didn't have the morning sickness. I don't know what it feels like to vomit in the morning or in the evening or in the afternoon. During pregnancy, I didn't vomit from day one to the very last day. And the second thing that didn't happen to me was that did not happen to me was, I often hear people talking about the faintings. I didn't faint. The one thing that did happen to me though was the tiredness. I just wanted to sleep all the time. Like I wanted to sleep in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, in the every day, in the every second, in the every single moment. Hey, I just wanted to all the time. I was very exhausted. Very, very, very exhausted. And then I remember, you know, sharing these news. I obviously shared with a good few people, one of them being my mom. I told my mom, I told my best friend, I told Cheho, I told Hazel, which is my very close sister, I told Paulina. Like these are like the very, very close people that I told. And then one day, you know, in all the excitement, in all the journey and the tracking every week, what is happening, the development of the baby, and was exciting. I think I was about 10 weeks pregnant. Yeah, I was about 10 weeks pregnant. Yeah, about 8 to 10 weeks pregnant. I went to go see my sister, one of my sisters in the Lord. I went to go see Pumzile, and we get there. While we were there, she's like, Ish, I need to take my daughter to UP. She was at varsity. And she's like, can you go with me? I'm like, yeah, no worry, in university or something. And then off we went to UP, Rekapangwana. And I was craving McDonald's. I was very hungry. No, I wasn't craving McDonald's, let me not lie. I was very hungry. And then we saw McDonald's was like the quickest thing that we saw. And then she's like, okay, let me go buy you food, and then we'll go to UP. We get to McD in Centurion. We get to McD, we're gonna go drive through, we buy. And then just as we got to the collection window, and she's giving me the food. Just as I reached out, I could feel myself getting warm, you know, getting warm. There by Jerusalem, getting warm. I'm like, Ceci, the feeling I just had now is the same feeling that you get when you are on your period, just that warmth of the blood coming out. And she was like, okay, let's get the food, and then let's go park, and let's confirm, and then going forward we'll see what to do. We were so calm. We drove to a parking spot. We get there, we park, and then after parking, I was wearing a cream white tracksuit. Cream white. And I remember when I wore it in that morning, I said to Mr. K, hey, to just wear pants of this color any moment, any day, without worrying about your period coming. Anywho, said it to Ellie. Got there, and I quickly had a peep. I looked at her and I'm like, it's blood. And then she says, okay, let's go to the bathroom, get you cleaned out, and then let's look for help. And then I went to the bathroom. Luckily, Mbali her daughter had a new dress in the thingy, a black dress. I then wore that dress, cleaned myself up, and then now we're driving back to Midrand, Harasaya, Pretoria. driving back to Midrand, so that we're closer to home as we look for help. We then get there, we find a gynae, I'm not going to say who it is, but we find a gynae, go in, we explain to him what just happened. Mr. Gynae was explaining what the types of miscarriages, and he spent a good 10 minutes explaining them. I don't remember what he said, but I was just sitting there and listening. Threatened miscarriage, ampur miscarriage, I don't remember. And then definite, okay, and I'm making them up. But there was that last one where he was like, and he's drawing and drawing, and the last one is when he says, and this is when the baby exits the building and there's nothing we can do. It's like, okay, sharp. My guy was sitting there, he looked like like he was so finished, and Mina, I'm like holding it in, because I'm like, I have to, I'm not gonna fall into pieces. I'm gonna be okay. We went into the room, and then when we got in there, scan, and he's like, oh, okay, I can hear a heartbeat. There's a heartbeat. Oh, no, I forgot this part. And this is the important part. Before we went in there, and then everything he kept on saying was, remember, you are high risk because you are over 35. So when you are high risk and you are over 35, what is most likely to happen? This, that. Yeah, you, high risk. High risk. Yeah, and then on that corner, at that corner, high risk. Ice cream, fish plate, yara, high risk. All I was hearing was high risk, high risk, high risk. Anyway, eventually we went in there, and then check. There's a heartbeat, and he was happy with it. He said it's a nice, strong, beautiful heartbeat. Doesn't look like there's anything to worry about, but he said he's going to put me on a hormonal tablet that will help with the closing of the cervix, something of that sort. What. I remember thinking to myself, I don't want this doctor anymore. I think one of the reasons why I didn't want to use him anymore was because I don't want to be in a situation where I've had this threat, or I have this situation, and then I feel like somebody who's supposed to help me and give me hope where there should be hope is out here reminding me of things that I don't want to be hearing. He made me anxious, in simple terms. He made me anxious by constantly mentioning how much of a high risk I am, and then I started taking the tablets. This was around, the bleeding happened at the end of Feb. Started taking the tablets. On the 21st of Feb, I had a speaking engagement in Benoni. Went to Davidton, spoke. Boom, again. I can feel that I'm having the second situation again. And this is after preaching. I went to the bathroom. I find it. Got home. Obviously, now I'm no longer at the event in my head. Got home. So I remember Rich and I were just driving around and trying to find help, until we decided, okay, let's just leave it, because it wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible. It was a situation of let's see what happens tomorrow. Woke up the next day, it was good. There was no issues, and I sort of like just told myself, let me hold it through and see what will happen. So as the days went by, I was cool, I remember then I went to Polokwane for my orthodontist appointment. My ortho is in Polokwane. Then I went home for my ortho's appointment. I get there, see my doctor, And then on the it was I left on a Friday and I came back Sunday. So on the Sunday when I was coming back, I was at my aunt's place, chilling there, same situation. I called Chiho very quickly and I'm like, friend, this is what's happening, I'm bleeding, I'm coming to your place, let's look for help. And help was go Polokwane. Rather, I was in Polokwane, so she knows where to find help. So I went to her and then we drove to one of those 24-hour medical centers. We went to the one center, Harafisha. I went in, saw the doctor, explained to him what happened, and he then went and checked me. Hyman hands and check. He then says to me, so let me just backtrack a bit. I had seen one of my big brothers who is very, very deep in the prophetic. In one of the prophetic sessions, he said to me, do you have any history of paternal twins in your family? I'm like, paternal twins? Never. He's like, no. Your grandmother comes from a lineage of paternal twins. I'm like, I don't. And then he actually ended up saying to me, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. I'm like, oh, okay, my bad. But I was kind of like, and then he says to me, from what I'm seeing in the spirit now, it would look like you lost a boy, but the girl survived. I'm like, oh, okay. And this was early, like couple 12 weeks, Anyway, so let me go back to the Polokwane story. So I'm at the doctor, and then doctor checks, and then he's like, oh no, I can find a heartbeat, quite a nice heartbeat, happy with it. And then he says to me, ma'am, can I ask you a question? I'm like, yeah, doc, you can ask. He says, was this a natural pregnancy or was this an IVF pregnancy? I'm like, doctor, natural. I did it in a humorous way, and I think because already he had confirmed that there's a heartbeat, so kapap. I'm like, doctor, natural. And then, but why would you ask? He says, because I see two gestational bags. In one bag, I can see an activity. In another bag, I don't see activity. It would appear you were carrying paternal twins. My mind immediately went to that moment with Prophet, my brother. And I was like, what? So I looked at him and I actually laughed. And I think he's probably thinking, are you mad? Why would you laugh when I'm telling you what I'm telling you, And fast forward, he then confirms this is what's happening. I'm going to give you medication, to keep the one bag that has activity alive and good. And then I get released. I call my brother. I'm like, wena, ha, mabagiege, hands down. This is what's happening. And then he's like, wow, And then I call Mr. K. Obviously, he's not good hearing what he's hearing. And then eventually we find a good gynae at 4As. 2 reasons. We wanted a gynae that is closer to home, so that whatever happens, we are close to where the gynae is. But secondly, we were looking for someone who will be able to walk with me in this journey in a way that will not make me panic. And that's exactly what God gave us. God gave us a gynae that was so good. Like, she will tell you the worst of news, but she will tell you in a way that makes you feel, oh, okay, it's not that bad, But that was it, and went through the journey with with the pregnancy, on and off, you know, it was just, you know, it was an emotional one, because every day in Lord, you know, help, you know, can it just can it just go all the way to 40 weeks, you know? And by God's grace, it did go all the way to well, not 40 weeks. I was too tired to get to 40 weeks. I asked my daughter, can this person just exit the building way before 40 weeks? And yeah, eventually she arrived, and yeah, we are overly ecstatic and excited for the arrival of our baby girl. You know, if you remember what I said earlier on, baby girl arrived. I had named my daughter for sure 10 years ago, long before I even thought I will meet Mr. Right or Mr. that will marry me. I named my daughter. So Lesedi arrived, and she's been a joy. She's been wonderful. But here's the purpose of this video. One of the purposes of this video is, of course, to share my pregnancy journey, to talk about what I experienced, and to share it with everybody that will care to listen, and that will care to sort of like share the experience with me. But one of the things that I want to do through this video is to bring an awareness of something that we do sometimes so innocently, sometimes you know, we do it from a very good place, but we sort of like forget to, not even forget, we somehow don't get to understand what it could be doing to the next person. Throughout my pregnancy, I did all that I could to keep it private. It was private on every platform, on Facebook, on all socials. It was private. There were only a handful of people that knew that I was pregnant. It's people I had shared the threatened miscarriages with, It's people I had told with the purpose of them praying with me. And as a result, you somehow become very fearful to go and tell everybody about this, because you've experienced this thing, you know, on several occasions, and you don't know if it will eventually then happen, and then there's nothing to show people after having told them. And that's why I kept it private. But here's the thing. I used to be so triggered by anybody who would even so much suggest that I was pregnant from a simple post, Moketlaring guys, I am looking for where they make fresh homemade bread. Yeah, just an example, homemade bread, and somebody would come and say, you must be pregnant. Oh yes, you are pregnant. Comments like that are innocent, don't get me wrong, but they made me very anxious, because they made me feel, what if it doesn't fall through? And in it not falling through, people might keep talking about it and making comments about it. But over and above that, the reason for this video is for people to be careful not to pry in people's productivity or but again, conception journeys and yeah, that part of life. I'm saying this because it's easy for us to say to a Linda, are you pregnant? When are you falling pregnant? At the back of your mind, or at the back of the question, what you don't know is that yesterday she's just seen a doctor who said to her, your gestational bag has nothing. You could be asking, oh, are you pregnant? Or you look big, you must be pregnant. But what you don't know at that time is that 2 weeks ago, she may have lost a pregnancy. So these questions can be quite triggering. They can bring a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear. And also, these questions could and might be posed at people who are genuinely trying and it's not happening. It could also be posed to people who are on an IVF journey that comes at quite a hefty cost. But 100,000 with every circle of trying, and 2-3 weeks later IVF and they are no longer pregnant. And here comes Linda. Ndabi saying, you look fresh and pregnant. Lerato, you look fresh and pregnant. So just want us, as a society, much as we mean well in with those questions, we coming from a good place with those questions. I just want us to become very careful. I am hoping that this would bring some sort of awareness and a consciousness easing to people who could be asking these private questions to couples and to women. The struggles are different. The pain behind the smiles are different. The pain behind the worship, they're different. The pain behind the praise is different. You could be seeing this person at church, at work, etc., with a big smile on their face, with a makeup on fleek, contoured face, but what you don't know is that they could be facing or going through a very terrible storm as far as the conception journey is concerned. So yeah, that's I'm pleading with the society and with everybody that will hear me from the place where I'm coming from to say, let us be careful and let us be sensitive to that, because we don't know what people are facing. And yeah, with that said, I am hoping that this video and my journey will make you understand, and many understand, why I kept my pregnancy private, and why everything about it was so sensitive, but also with others, with your friends, your cousins, your colleagues, your church mates, and so forth. Why it's important to almost shy away from being intrusive in that area of their lives. Thank you so much for joining me on my very first video on my YouTube channel. With that said, please do subscribe. Please do click that ring. Every time I load a video, you're gonna get a ka-ching ching, ka-cling cling, please do comment as well, and also if this video has meaning to someone that to somebody who you feel ikamutacha, or somebody that you feel they might want to share it with whoever, do share the link with them, and I will see you at my next video. Ciao ciao.